I'm with Sue Aikens and Brittany Rowland from National Geographic's Life Below Zero and Life Below Zero Next Generation. Good morning. Thanks for joining me.
Good morning, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing well. First off, I've got to ask the question, what in the hell are you guys doing right now?
I am sitting in my living room. I'm talking with you guys, yeah.
So you guys are on a show called Life Below Zero. What can people expect when they tune into this kind of show?
Lots of adventure.
On Life Below Zero, follows the lives of a few of us that have chosen long-term. We've been on remote lifestyles. I live just a few miles off the Arctic Ocean. I live in a tent out here. I've been here for almost 21 years. And then Britt is on the new show, Life Below Zero Next Gen. And it's sort of like the OG and the new guys. I'll let her tell you about the Next Gen.
Yeah, so we're a bunch of youngins, if you want to call us. We're all technically millennials, so don't hold that against us. And it's just we're choosing to try this different lifestyle, and in the show you get to see us hopefully thrive, and I'm sure in some areas struggle a little bit with choosing a more difficult but rewarding path.
So let me ask you this. First, Sue, and then Brittany, what made you or led you to make the decision to choose this kind of lifestyle for yourself?
When I was very young, I was born in Chicago, and when I was very young, I was moved to Alaska. And then by the time I was in my double digits, I needed to figure out how to survive and thrive in a remote area. And it just clicks with me. It's part of who I am. I think a little differently. Back in the day, back in the early 60s, people didn't use words like autism or, you just got thrown into a room and, hey, you're all special. Here's a new teacher. But being alone, doing things for my life just fit. So I graduated high school around my 13th birthday. In Alaska, you could choose to learn how to drive a car or fly a plane in school. So I learned how to fly, got an airplane, went to work, and just kept going from there and kept going further out. So a friend of mine had owned this camp, was looking for a manager. I started managing, and then worked 10 years, bought it, and I've been here 21 years now.
Wow. What about for you, Brittany?
Actually, it was my husband who was like, hey, let's move out to McCarthy. He grew up out here from ages 9 on up, and so he's used to this rural life. This is what he knows. The city is the weird to him. And so it started with him wanting to be out here and me saying, okay, let's try it. And so we did it just for the summers. But now we're here year-round, and this is our only residency.
So how I guess in tune are you with what's going on in the rest of the world? Like what is your connection to, I guess, everything else, or is there one?
We have internet and we have phones, so like we have connection to the outside world. We know many things of what's going on. Obviously, it's not in our backyard as it is for many people. But we do know a lot of things that are going on.
So you guys are kind of the OGs. You talked about that term with socially distancing. How has the pandemic affected you guys kind of in isolation, or has it really?
It has impacted us a little bit out here in the sense of in the wintertime, there's only about 30 of us out here, so it's very limited who you get to see and whatnot. While this summer, there's several hundred people who move out here because it's a tourist town, and then there's several thousand people who come to visit. And so this year, the summer really felt like winter. We were very secluded because of COVID and everything, and it was a bummer for our kids the most because there weren't other kids to play with other than one very close friend. And that was really hard for my kids because usually they have, and I know this sounds really small, like 10 to 15 kids that they play with on a regular basis in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And this summer, it was like the winter. They had one kid, and then they had their cousin. So they had two children to play with when they're used to playing with more in the summer. So that was really hard, I think, for the kids. And it was a little bit lonely for me just because I usually see more people and have more of a social life in the summer. And I didn't this summer.
What about for you, Sue?
Like I say, I had a 100% cancellation rate. To comply, I'm in a show business because I'm the only refueling station for helicopters and airplanes on the entire eastern side of the North Slope, about an area a third of the size of the state of California. But zero clients because you if you wanted to stay for 3 nights, you would have to get here, isolate for 2 weeks, and then come up. And I am really rigid about that. It's a population of one out here, but, no matter what, it's a very serious thing. So, I will comply. But you have to look at this also as an opportunity. You can go down the rabbit hole of negativity. Certainly social media is whipping things into a frenzy. Mm-hmm. But I had to look at it as an opportunity to do a tremendous amount of chores that I didn't have time to do before. There were a lot of opportunities that I just don't have time for because I'm usually busy working. And so that was good. That was unique. Was it financially a windfall this year? Absolutely not. But, you got to look for the silver linings, not the storm clouds.
Sure. All right, well, I'll end on this last question. Living life below zero obviously has its challenges. Is there any one thing that you miss or you wish you had that I guess what other people would consider to be normal living? I don't want to downgrade what you guys do, but is there one thing from maybe other lifestyles living in above zero, basically? Is there any one thing that you guys miss or wish you had more of?
I think the one thing
the way that I live my. Go ahead.
The one thing that I miss is having a place where, like, if I just need a break and I want to go and do something, like go out for coffee with a friend or go to a bookstore or something like that, if I just need a little bit of space for my family, my options are to go hiking, and I'm not a huge hiker. So I think if there is one thing that I miss, it's that ability to just take a break from having to worry about anything for just a few minutes. And that's something I don't get out here, which most of the time is fine. But occasionally I'm just like, it would be really nice if I could just do something that has nothing to do with making sure my children and myself and my husband are alive.
Sure. Sue, what about for you?
For me, I don't think like that. I don't come from an emotional place. So for example, I get asked all the time, aren't you lonely? Well, no. I register that I live alone, but it doesn't follow that I'm lonely. Sure. So when people say, what do you miss? I don't miss anything. I don't look at what I don't have. I look at what I do. If I'm so wrapped up in what I'm missing, what I'm missing is what I do have. So if there's something I find lacking, I find a way to get it. And that's the tenacity that you're going to be doing this for 40 years. If you find anything you're lacking, it's your booty go and discover how to do it, how to make it, how to create it, or how to forget it.
Got you. Well, Sue,
learn it if you need and want.
For sure. Well, Sue and Brittany, thank you so much for joining me. Looking forward to checking you out on National Geographic's Life Below Zero and Life Below Zero Next Gen. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. Y'all have a good day.